Hi guys! Fair warning, this is a pre-recorded video, meaning by the time you guys see this, I'll be in Los Angeles having the time of my life with my girlfriend Ava. I'm gonna be in LA for 3 weeks and I didn't want to leave you guys hanging for that long without any new videos, so I figured I'd squeeze in time to shoot a real quick little update about the upcoming projects here aboard Athena this summer. And I figured a fun way of doing that would be to make a new little to-do list here on the bulkhead. But before I do that, I should probably go ahead and update this one because I have already removed the engine and the sail drive, and I've also drained the diesel tank and removed it. So there we go. Without further ado, here is what I consider to be the bare minimum if I want to splash Athena this coming fall. Yep, this is gonna be a whole lot of work. Let's go ahead and run through each of these so that you guys can get a better sense of what's involved. Please note that the order of these tasks are going to be dictated by the weather and whether or not I can get Athena moved into a shed like I did last summer. So for now, let's just run through them in a random order. First up is to finish the deck. As most of you guys know, I replaced the core in the entire deck last summer, but I didn't have time to finish the sides of the cabin top, and I didn't have time to paint the cabin top or the cockpit. So this is going to be that. That will entail fairing, priming and painting the cabin top as well as the cockpit, and of course that means also removing a lot of hardware, like this hatch and these grab rails, and all of the winches and cleats out in the cockpit. I predict that this is going to be a pretty straightforward job. I know the core in the cabin top to be in good condition, so the only possible surprise that could be hiding is going to be the plywood underneath the winches, but we'll see. Next up is the osmosis treatment. As most of you guys know, when I bought Athena, I did so knowing that she had a bit of osmosis. I've finally dried out the hull, so I can go ahead and proceed with the osmosis treatment. I've already taken care of sanding the hull into bare fiberglass, so at least I don't have to worry about that delightful task. But there is a little bit of a problem area back here. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but back here, the laminate is not really in good shape. So I'll have to remove about 1 millimeter or 2 and then lay up some new laminate, but it's not a big deal. And it's only from around here to here, so yeah, not a big deal. Once I've added that little bit of new laminate back there, I'm just gonna fair the entire hull, add 2 layers of fiberglass to the entire hull, some primer and then some cover coat, and she'll be done. So that doesn't sound so bad, does it? I mean, it's gonna be a ton of work, but I also think it's gonna be pretty fun. Now, let's head back up. Oh, it is pretty cold out, but at least by the time you guys see this video, I'll be enjoying nice sunny weather in Los Angeles. The next one is called Blue Line, and I know that's kind of a weird title, but that's because I don't think I know the correct term. I mean, I don't think it's called a boot stripe when it's that high up, but let's head down and I'll show you. See these 2 blue stripes here? Those are the stripes I'm referring to, and they look kind of messed up, and I got some epoxy on to some of them, and there's some masking tape that's been sitting there for way too long. So I want to sand those and repaint them to have them look spiffy, and also because I need some way of hiding the transition between this white color up here and the white color on the top sides. All the way along the hull, it's not going to be an issue because the tow rail is going to be there to sort of break up this so that you don't notice the difference in color between this and this. But back here, there's no tow rail, so I need some way of hiding that transition. What I'm planning on doing is just to take the top line here and then continuing that along this top edge up here, and then figure out what to do with the bottom one. But I'll come up with some kind of cool design for this. That might seem like kind of an odd thing to do, but the alternative is for me to paint the entire top side, which that's just going to be a lot of work, and she is going to be a cruising boat, so she's going to get scuffed up and she's never going to look pristine. So yeah, I think I'd just rather leave the gel coat as is. Right now, she doesn't look great because there's a slight yellow tint to the gel coat in certain areas. There's some dirt here, but I think I can clean this up pretty good. If I go nuts and paint the entire thing, I'm worried that every little scratch, which there are presumably going to be a lot of, are just going to show up and make it look horrible. But perhaps some of you guys have some experience with that, and you can let me know down in the comments. Next up is to apply Kiwi grip. By the time I'm done with this task up here, the entire deck will just be covered in Sigma Dur 550, which is not a good non-skid. That's where the Kiwi grip comes in. That might seem like a pretty quick task, just to sand everything and apply Kiwi grip and that's it. But there are a couple of other little twists to that task. For one, I need to figure out where all the deck hardware is going to go so I don't apply Kiwi Grip to those areas. And also, say this is one of those areas where I'd like to mount a piece of deck hardware, for instance, this cleat. I'd like to add 3 or 5 millimeters of solid fiberglass on top of the deck. That way, when it's raining and water is just slowly trickling off the deck, that water doesn't come into contact with this area where the cleat is through-bolted through the deck. Of course, all of the deck hardware is going to be bedded in butyl tape or some other sealant, so this little fiberglass hump is just a bit of added insurance. I want to adhere those little humps in place up on deck before I apply Kiwi Grip. See? Mount humps. But other than that, this should be a pretty simple task. Next up is the rudder. As you guys saw in one of the recent videos, there was a bit of a surprise hiding inside of my rudder. So this summer, there's a task that involves making a mold of the old rudder, fixing the old rudder, and then installing the old rudder. That, of course, still leaves the delightful task of actually building the new rudder, which I think is going to be a lot of fun, but that is not on the list for this summer. I think there's plenty there to keep me busy. As soon as I got Athena up on the hard, I removed the old through holes, so of course before she's splashed I need to put in some new through holes. See? No through holes. But that task also includes figuring out the plumbing here aboard Athena. There are going to be some radical changes. For one, the head out here in the forward head is going to flush using fresh water. The aft head is going to flush using salt water to cut down on water consumption while underway. I'm also going to be adding a little 8-liter grey water reservoir that's going to pump directly overboard, but we'll get back to all of that later this year. To put in the through holes, I don't actually need to run the new plumbing, I just need to figure out what I want to do, and then I can take care of the rest of it during the winter. Whoops, I just realized once I'm done with the Kiwi Grip task, I still won't have any cleats on the boat, so I don't have any way of tying it up. So we'll just add a task for putting some cleats up on deck. Last but not least, there's the matter of the new tow rail. Last summer I removed the old one because it was in the way, and also it was looking kinda not so spiffy. I haven't ordered the new tow rail yet, and to be honest I haven't even figured out which one I want, but maybe in a month or two I can show you guys some samples and we can figure out which one to go with. Well, hopefully one that doesn't bankrupt me, but we'll see. And that basically gets us to the end of the list for this summer. You might be thinking to yourself, that's a lot of work, but you might just be able to pull it off if you work straight through the spring, the summer, and the early fall. Yeah, but there is the matter of the Joker. You might be wondering, whom is this Joker of which he speaks? Well, the Joker are the wet structural members underneath the cabin sole. I haven't still figured out if those are actually called stringers and floors in this layout, but the structural members underneath the floor are a potential issue. I can't really show them to you right now because there's an engine and a ton of other stuff in the way. But I think that's okay, you guys have seen them in previous videos. Now, the worst possible thing that could happen here is that I need to replace all of those structural members. And that's bad because everything inside the boat, with the exception of the main bulkhead, is built on top of those structural members. So that would mean tearing out the galley. And also these 3 bulkheads here, because like I said, these are also built on top of those structural members. So that means demolishing the head in here and sadly the chart table in here. Apologies for the mess, but that would also include all of my nice wiring, the locker above the chart table, well, the chart table, and just about everything. Now, calm down, calm down. That is a worst case scenario. I won't find out what structural members I'll need to replace until later this summer. But yeah, until then, just please cross your fingers. Before anybody starts spouting off comments about Athena being unsalvageable and wah, just please bear in mind that it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, it is just a bit of plywood, some epoxy, and some paint. It's nothing a bit of time and a tiny bit of money can't fix, because doing that wouldn't really be that expensive. It's all just freaking plywood. But like I said, that is the absolute worst case scenario. And right now it's just a little bit of a joker because I don't know what's going to happen. But we'll find out. So there you have it, my to-do list for the summer of 2018. I think no matter what happens with the joker, we're all gonna have a lot of fun this summer. But I'm gonna get busy rendering this video and take advantage of the nice sunny weather outside and put a new tarp over Athena so she's nice and comfy while I'm living it up in LA. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. As always, feel free to leave a comment down below, and don't forget, if you've enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like. See you!